Σήμερα ο Τάσος θα παίξει το thestanleyparable. Είναι ένα παιχνίδι επιλογών. Αρχικά δημιουργεί είναι Galactic Café και δημιουργήθηκε το 2013 και μετά φτιάξανε και Deluxe Edition, Ultra Deluxe, που ήρθε πολύ αργότερα. Ουσιαστικά μιλάμε για ένα narrative adventure παιχνίδι, είναι interactive το story του, μέσω των επιλογών, walking simulator και κυρίως είναι ψυχολογικό. Και εγώ αυτό που είπα ότι παρομοιάζει αρκετά είναι άμα έχετε δει το Severance, τη σειρά Severance, το θυμίζει πάρα πολύ αυτό το παιχνίδι. Είναι τέτοιο καμμένο, είναι καμμένο, εγκεφαλικά καμμένο. Παίζει σε ένα ήσυχο γραφείο ως ένας υπάλληλος, ο οποίος το όνομά του λέγεται Stanley και μία μέρα ξαφνικά κάτι πάρα πολύ παράξενο γίνεται στο χώρο εργασίας του και ξεκινάς να το εξερευνάς και να ανακαλύπτεις κάποια μυστικά που δεν περίμενες να ανακαλύψεις ποτέ. Θα πρέπει να ακολουθείς τις διαταγές, τις εντολές του narrator, αυτού που θα μας μιλάει, ή να τις αγνοούμε τελείως, ή να κάνουμε κάτι τελείως αναπάντεχο, κάτι που τέταρτο τείχο αυτό. Και άμα δείτε κιόλας, όντως, βλέπεις, ξέρω εγώ, ουσιαστικά τώρα εμείς είμαστε σε ένα PC, που βλέπει ένα PC. Ή ξέρω ένα τύπο, αυτό.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Αρχίσαμε.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Ήμασταν ο υπάλληλος
Employee number
427.
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Λες όντως να πήρανε ιδέες το Severance από αυτό το παιχνίδι. Μοιάζει πάρα πολύ θεματολογία.
As though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Ήταν, λέει, χαρούμενος με τη δουλειά του, αλλά έκανε κάθε μέρα το ίδιο
And then
πράγμα.
one day something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Όπου θα μας μιλάει, ενώ ταυτόχρονα θα παίζουν.
Γρήγορα πάει ο τύπος.
Λοιπόν, ουσιαστικά τώρα εμείς είμαστε στο
All of his
427.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Θα πρέπει ή να ακούς τον narrator ή να μην τον αγνοείς πλήρως. Με αυτά που σου λέει. Αυτό σου λέει που να πας, αλλά άμα θες μπορείς να τον αγνοήσεις κιόλας.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Ακραίο.
Ναι, αλλά άμα δεν το κάνω θα παραμείνουμε εδώ για πάντα. Οπότε δεν έχει και την επιλογή. Ταυτόχρονα.
Έχουν χαθεί όλοι οι συνάδελφοί του.
Τέλειο.
Και όλη η
When
εταιρεία.
Stanley came to a set of
Ούτε
two
κάτι.
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
The door on his left, λέει. Σου λέει.
Ναι, οκ.
Περίμενε.
Εγώ πάω δεξιά.
Μπορείς να δεις.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Employee lounge. Τα γραφεία εποχή COVID έτσι ήτανε. Θυμίζει πάρα πολύ Severance.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ακραίο το ότι υπολογίσανε κάθε πιθανή επιλογή που μπορεί να κάνει κάποιος και φτιάξαν αντίστοιχο narration.
Φοβερό,
Έτσι.
Έτσι νομίζω είναι και το Blue Prince.
Ναι.
Τέτοια φάση.
Μεγάλο είναι το παιχνίδι αυτό. Το Blue Prince.
Μπορεί να είναι και μικρό σε φάση. Ανάλογα με τις πόρτες. Να πάω ή να μην πάω.
Κάνε ό,τι θες εσύ. Δική σου είναι η επιλογή.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
κάτω πας.
Πάμε κάτω, δεν πειράζει. Ό,τι να είναι θα κάνω.
Ουσιαστικά εσύ αδράζεις την ιστορία.
Ό,τι να είναι θα κάνω.
Εσύ κάνε αυτό που θες να
Stanley didn't
κάνεις.
want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
Left, λέει.
Δεν
Δεν
έχω
σε
δει.
αφήνει. Σε
Πάμε.
αφήνει μόνο αριστερά.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake.
Λέω.
Κρέο.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was
μπέρδεψα
to
το
the
τύπο.
right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Τον έχει σπάσει τον τοίχο, είδε. Τον
Καλά
έχει
πήγε.
σπάσει τον τοίχο.
Now, let's see, we went
Διαβάζει
down, right,
papers.
left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely
Τρομερό narration κιόλας,
This way.
έτσι. Και ακούγεται και ένα πληκτρολόγιο τύπου ότι γράφει
Όταν
την
πατάω κλικ.
ιστορία.
Όταν πατάω κλικ. Είναι αυτό.
Βγάλε μια φωτογραφία.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
Ναι, έχει ωραίο βοηθάκι.
Okay. We just have to get back to
Αυτό μου θυμίζει τώρα το Pirate.
It's all
Ο άλλος
rubbish.
είχε απολυθεί.
The whole story completely
Κι άλλος,
unusable.
δύο.
How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Αλήθεια τώρα. Δηλαδή
All
πρέπει
of
να
his
το
co-workers
ακούσει.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he
ξανακάνω.
simply missed a memo.
Πήγαινε στο meeting room.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Άρα όχι, δεν ήταν λάθος επιλογή.
Όχι. Μου τα άνοιξε όλα.
Ναι. Let's find the story. Διάλεξε πόρτα τώρα εσύ.
Στην πιο δύσκολη θέλω να πάω. Τι να δω.
Δεν βλέπεις και κάτι ιδιαίτερο. Θα να φαίνεται ότι είναι το ίδιο δωμάτιο.
Ναι,
Η
όντως.
ίδια... Πω κάψιμο. Εγκεφαλικών κυτάρων.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress
χάλασα.
starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Εντάξει, είναι ακραίο το πώς παίζει μαζί μας. Παίζει αυτό μαζί μας, δεν παίζουμε
All of
εμείς.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Μήπως το meeting room δεν είναι από εκεί που πας, είναι από πίσω.
Όχι από εδώ είναι, απλά εγώ πήγα αλλού.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story
χειρότερα.
is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Α, να πας ανάποδα. Κοίτα λίγο και τις πόρτες, ρε παιδί μου, αν
Κάνε.
ανοίγουν. Α, ανοίγει μόνη του.
Ναι.
Ωραία, από εκεί.
Δεν έχει τίποτα εδώ.
Μόνη της έκλεισε.
Ναι. Όχι. Μόνο εδώ την έκλεισε.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Μας δουλεύει,
Το
δεν
κατέστρεψα.
γίνεται. Άμα. Δεν
Now
έχει...
this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that
Ήτανε
correct?
αυτό, όταν ξεκίνησε.
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work and it really paid off, so good job.
W.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Πω, εντάξει.
Μου βάλε γραμμές κίτρινες.
The Stanley Parable. Ακολούθω την κίτρινη γραμμή.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Τάσο, έλα.
Να το ακολουθήσω.
Πάμε, αφού τώρα είδες τι ήταν από εκεί.
Ναι, αλλά μπορεί να τον κάψεις τελείως τον τίποτα.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize.
Το έχει χάσει εδώ πέρα.
Sure where I was going.
Πες να δούμε τι είχε.
You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Τσίρκο.
Άμα.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
Αρκετά.
Βασικά αυτός έχει καεί.
We're back at the office?
Α, ωραία.
No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Άντε πάλι.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Δεν γίνεται. Αφού το ακολουθήσαμε. Τώρα σε βάλε άλλο.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
Όλο το κουβαλάει ο
What our
narrator.
story to be.
Ναι.
Go wild. Use your imagination.
Είδες καμία.
Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Τι κάνεις, γιατί πας πίσω.
Γιατί κάνω κύκλους.
Δεν έκανες κύκλους.
Δεν κάνω.
Use your imagination, λέει. Μήπως η τύχη είναι πόρτα.
Αυτό σκέφτηκα, αλλά δεν βλέπω κάτι. Θα φαινόταν.
Oh no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined?
Φοβερό.
So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing. Wall. Well, who consulted me?
Κάναμε ήδη το ένα ending και έκανες το confusion.
I get a say in all of this. Is it really?
Κάτσε, μπορεί να μην είναι αυτό το ending.
I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
Τι ήταν αυτό?
Δεν ξέρω, μια κόρνα.
Άρα έκανες το ένα ending τώρα.
Αυτό ήτανε.
Ναι,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided
Ωραία, πάμε ένα
to the
κανονικό.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Meeting room.
Άρα τώρα έκανε ένα ending. Αυτό δεν έκανε.
Νομίζω, ναι. Νομίζω. Θα δούμε.
Stanley went around touching
σου έλεγε ότι
every
έκανες το
little thing in the
confusing
office,
ending
but it
και
didn't
σου
make a
έδειχνε
single difference.
τι
Nor
ακολούθησες.
did it advance the story in any way. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ωραία, τώρα ακολουθείς ακριβώς ό,τι σου λέει.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Get crystally targets. Push for get Chris out of the broom closet.
Not cost efficient, okay.
Everyone is unique. You most of all.
You most of all.
Ναι. Broom
Τι
closet.
έλεγε το broom, κάτι έλεγε.
Get Chris out of the broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Δεν έχει κάτι να κάνω.
Δεν έχει, λέει. Get back on track.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Το bathroom πήγα να πάω απευθείας.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ουσιαστικά τώρα θα ακολουθούμε κατά γράμμα αυτό που μας ζητάει να κάνουμε.
Ναι, αφού έκανα το confusion ending.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Για αριστερά λέει Escape.
Escape, Mind Control Facility.
Αυτό μου είπε να πάω από εκεί.
Το Mind Control είναι πιο ενδιαφέρον να δούμε βέβαια.
Το Escape το κάναμε μία.
Δεν κάναμε escape, κολλήσαμε ουσιαστικά.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Κάπως έτσι ήταν και το Severance.
Ναι.
Είχανε κάμερες για όλους. Αν θυμάμαι καλά.
Και την ψυχολογία τους, πόσο καλά είναι, πόσο καλά
παρακολουθούν και εκτός της δουλειάς.
Ναι.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Θα το καταστρέψει τελείως. Mind controls. Awaiting input. Off.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes, he had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin,
Ουσιαστικά τώρα
the feeling of
ελευθερωθήκαμε.
liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Achievement unlock, beat the game.
Αυτό ήταν.
Αυτό ήταν
Το καλό ending μάλλον.
το καλό ending. Όταν ακολουθείς τον narrator ουσιαστικά.
Θέλω να τον ακολουθήσω στην αρχή και να πάω στο
Stanley decided to go to the meeting
Κάνεις
room
και
to
τρίτο.
check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself
Άντε
and
πάμε για ύπνο,
constantly
λέει.
needed
Όχι,
support
πάμε
and
άλλη μία.
guidance from others.
Όπου, από
So
αριστερά,
the
αριστερά
thought of
πίσω.
total solitude was terrifying to
Εκεί
him.
είχαμε πάει.
Όχι.
Όχι. Ποιος τον χέζει τον narrator? Όπα. Την πρώτη φορά που πήγε έκανε το confusing story.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Άρα αντί να πας στο mind control, να πας στο άλλο, στο exit. Γιόλαρε το λέει. Την πρώτη φορά που το γιόλαρε τον έκαψε
Το
τελείως.
γιόλαρα την πρώτη, πήγα δεξιά εδώ που μου είπε. Τώρα θα πάω αριστερά και θα έχει κάποια στιγμή,
Ναι.
αντί να μπει στο κτίριο που λέει Mind Control, είχε ένα escape.
Το αριστερά, να πας στο escape.
Yet
Πάμε
there
στο
was not a single person here.
Λέει, περίμενε, tips for... περίμενε.
Feeling a wave of
Αριστερά.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his
Tips for
boss's
not getting
office,
fired. Talk
hoping he
less.
might find an answer there.
Let it ball up inside you.
What?
Τι λέει,
Πώς?
how to solve a dispute with a coworker. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more.
Ό,τι να.
Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Okay.
Κλειστικές.
Όχι.
Για άνοιξε την πόρτα. Οκ.
Εγώ θα κάτσω εδώ μέσα όμως. Λογικά γίνεται, δεν γίνεται. Να κάτσω και εδώ.
Πάνε καν αυτό που έλεγες ότι θα κάνεις.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Εδώ
office.
μπορώ να πάω και κάτω, μπορώ
Μπορείς
και
να πας και κάτω.
Όχι, πάμε να κάνουμε αυτό που είπα.
Ναι.
Και μετά μαθαίνουμε κι άλλο. Πάμε κάτω στις
Stepping
σκάλες.
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just
Ακόμα
let
και
the
αυτό-
narrator talk.
Φοβερό.
Αν είναι δυνατόν.
Anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Παιδιά,
Φοβερό,
δεν υπάρχει.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley
Δεν
calmly
υπάρχει.
walked forward
Ακόμα
into
και
the
αυτό
open
έτσι.
passageway.
Τα έχουν σκεφτεί όλα.
Πραγματικό Severance όμως. Πώς έχει τίποτα από εδώ.
Όχι.
Ξέρω όμως κάπου βγήκα. Δεν ξέρω πού, αλλά βγήκα.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Πάμε escape τώρα.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Τι?
Πάμε, τι έχουμε να χάσουμε.
Να
The door
πεθάνουν.
behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Okay. Πεθανά. Τάσο, λέει όλα καλά.
Τουλάχιστον δεν σε κάνει να βαριέσαι. Εσύ
As
είναι
the
πολύ
machine
περίεργο.
got into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence.
Θα γίνουμε, θα συνθλιφτούμε βασικά.
He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Σου λέει ρε παιδί μου για τη ζωή, το ότι έχει νόημα το ότι υπάρχει ο θάνατος και πεθαίνουμε μία φορά. Γιατί άμα πεθαίναμε πολλές φορές όπως τώρα ο Stanley δεν έχει νόημα. Αυτό σου λέει.
Stanley's computer.
Δεν ξέρουμε ποια
το
είναι
έχει σαν... Αυτό δεν είναι.
Ναι.
Σαν μουσείο. Κοίτα. Stanley's computer. Σαν μουσείο είναι.
The Office. The two doors. Button sounds.
Selections of the sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed.
Και εδώ λέει credits, κοίτα.
Ναι, είναι σαν μουσείο.
Και κάθε ending που κάνει έχει διαφορετικό. Σου βάζει πάλι τα credits με διαφορετικό τρόπο. Ακούς.
Ναι. Δεξιά-αριστερά.
Δεν εσύ διαλύεις. Σαν τις πόρτες από μπαμπούλας ΑΕ, ναι.
Απάνω.
Warzone.
Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on the battlefield fighting aliens.
We realized shortly after starting to building that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Αν είναι δυνατόν. Αν είναι δυνατόν.
Μιλάμε τι έχουμε κάνει.
Και το έχουν μετατρέψει όλες τις ιδέες τους, Τις έχουν μετατρέψει σε μουσείο.
Και COVID και Warren, ναι, πραγματικά.
Κοίτα, λέει πράγματα εδώ πέρα δεξιά όμως. These are screenshot of the Stanley Parable HD Remix. The point of the Stanley is to win. The point of the Stanley Parable HD Remix is to lose. More endings, fewer endings. More narrators, fewer narrators. More Stanley, less Stanley.
Τρέλα είναι. Green light.
Οκ.
Are you gay? What the fuck?
Δεν γίνεται.
Narrator emails λέει.
After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use this in further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of those emails. Greetings, omnipotent of voice. I wanted to tell you I like the Stanley Parable as much as I liked seeing a humor... Question for you, sir, and it is what is your message for today? Ο κόσμος έστελνε email και οι τύποι τα πήρανε και τα βάλανε μέσα στο παιχνίδι σαν...
I hope it's good or better than the first. Μιλάμε.
Ακραίο. The apartment timer. In a previous version of the choice leading, the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending.
Το αφήνω. Ξαναξεκινάει. Ουσιαστικά στο escape σου έχει το μουσείο με πολλά hints στο τι μπορεί να γίνουν στα άλλα τέλη.
Ναι.
Ωραίο. Έξυπνο.
Game design.
Mock-up.
Δεν έχει κάτι τρομερό, είναι πολύ απλά φτιαγμένο.
Απλά και ταυτόχρονα... Countdown desk.
Freedom ending είναι αυτό που κάναμε πριν.
Ναι, το κάνα.
Είχε exit από πίσω σου.
Ναι.
The game is now paused. Begin the game again. Resume the game options. Return to menu. Περίμενε. We had an ending that only ended when the players started from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone.
Άρρωστη. Okay. Μάλιστα. Πάμε στο exit.
See how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
Θα το κάνω ή όχι?
Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time choose.
Ακραίο voice acting. Ακραίο. Σαν χώνει, έτσι.
Τι ιδέα κι αυτή πραγματικά.
Νιώθω ότι κάτι πολύ λάθος έχει πάει στον εγκεφαλό μου αυτό το παιχνίδι.
Τώρα δεν έχει τίποτα, είναι μαύρο.
Πέθανες.
Είναι μαύρο, δεν σου κάνει κάτι, δεν σε βγάζει. Πρέπει να πατήσεις quit, ξέρω εγώ.
Πέθανες, αυτό τελειώσαν όλα, πέθανε. Ακραίο. 19.
19 της χάναμε 3.
There are many endings typically said to be around 19. Original, στο original.